Hey everybody, it's Monika and welcome to my channel where I help social workers, counselors, and helping professionals deepen their level of self-awareness while boosting their competence and confidence in the profession. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing 6 tips for social work interns. So if you're interested in this topic, then please keep watching. I'm Monika Thomas, the founder and clinical social worker at Kindred Connections Therapy Center. I've been a social worker for over 12 years. I decided to do an entire YouTube channel on my journey from cubicle working social worker to successful entrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. So within my private practice, I've had a couple interns come work with me. So I wanted to share a few things that I think are really important for you to know when you're first starting out in your internship. And please know that it's normal when you're starting out into your social work career to be nervous about your internship. You might be thinking about making a good impression. You don't want to do anything wrong. You don't want to make a lot of mistakes. You want to look competent, like your school has prepared you for what you're getting into. But oftentimes that's not the case when you're first starting out into the field, and your field supervisor oftentimes knows that. So I'm hoping that these 6 tips can help you. Number 1 is look for gaps that you can fill within your agency. What that means is you want to look at your agency's service provision. What kind of things are they doing well? And then you want to really attune to what things are they not doing so well that they can potentially do better. Find those gaps within your agency and then talk with them about the possibility of you starting a project or an initiative, or you taking over a part of that service provision that maybe they don't have the staff to hire. Maybe it needs a little bit more attention or it needs some tweaking. But make sure that you're not taking on things that are not within your scope. You want to make sure whatever thing that you agree to take on, that you have the time to commit to it and that you can do it well. So a few examples of gaps could be, maybe your agency is starting a new social service program for girls and they have the curriculum, but the curriculum hasn't been written out or it's not broken down by modules or sections. One of the things that you can do is compile all of those modules together, write them down, create facilitators notes, and then create notes for the clients who will be engaging in the program. One of the other things that you can do in this area is to create a flyer or a way to market that group or the program to the community so that more people know about it. But before you take on anything extra, make sure that you ask your field supervisor and make sure that it's within your learning contract to do the extra work. Number 2 is look for opportunities to increase the public profile of your agency. This kind of ties into the first one, where you're really helping them hone in on their programs and services so that you can help them streamline and have a really good flow of the services that they provide. But for the second point, you're going to look for opportunities to be able to share this program with people in the community. So as an intern, you want to be thinking about what groups within a community could benefit from a girls group or a girls program. So you might want to reach out to church groups. Girl Scouts might be another opportunity. You might want to look into group homes who might have a need or a benefit for that. Or you might want to link up with women in the community who have started groups for girls. All of those could be really good ways to market the girls group that your agency is doing. And with that, you can also work with your agency's PR team or whatever public facing department that they have to maybe do a feature on your local news station or a local Facebook page to get the word out about the program or activity. Number 3 is you want to have some type of marketing experience or some type of graphic design that can be a benefit or a help to an agency. If this is not within your scope, that's totally fine. You can start with small programs like PicMonkey or Canva to really start honing in on your graphic design. That can be very beneficial for smaller agencies who don't have a big marketing budget or who send all of their graphic design out to an external agency. If you have the capacity to create things internally that's still quality and looks good, that can definitely be an added benefit to an agency where you're doing your internship. But always make sure that you're not over promising and under delivering. That's going to be another point that we talk about. If you have graphic design experience, speak to your agency about how you can create a newsletter, how you can begin writing the newsletter for funders or people within the community to know about the services and programs that you're offering. If your agency has a podcast or a Facebook page, that can be something that you help manage. No, it doesn't fall directly within social work, but oftentimes because, again, we're working for agencies that have really small budgets or really don't have a huge graphic design or marketing team, this can be a place where you can really shine and get the word out to community partners and start networking and connecting with other agencies who can benefit from the programs and services that your agency provides. Hey everybody, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, or share it. Also, video, be sure to click the notification bell because I upload a new video every Monday. And make sure you check out the Afrocentric Social Worker podcast. You can check that out on all the major podcasting platforms. The link to the podcast can be found below in the description. Number 4, don't be afraid to say what you don't know. Because you're new to the field, your field coordinator knows that there will be some things that you just might not know, and that's totally fine. But don't say that you can do things that you can't do or not do things that you know that you can. You don't want to oversell yourself, and then you don't want to sell yourself short either. So find a good, healthy balance in that. And if your field supervisor asks you to do something that you can't do, then just let them know. You can say, I've not been trained on that, or I know a little bit, but probably not enough to do what you're asking me to do, but I don't mind learning or taking some time out to learn a little bit more about what it entails. Always think of a way that you can communicate your willingness to learn something as opposed to overcommitting or saying that you can do something that you can't do. Number 5 is to never assume and to always ask. When I talked before about looking for opportunities within your agency, you might find that there's an opportunity to create outreach for a program that your agency is doing. But don't assume that just because the work isn't being done to get the word out, that you can just jump out there and start communicating to everyone about the group that's happening. 1, you can be communicating when you don't know all of the details. 2, there could be a potential funding issue where they weren't ready to promote the group yet. Or 3, you can end up communicating with an agency who they really don't have a good relationship and rapport with, and then you've put this group out into the community and the community can begin to expect it. So never assume that you know what your supervisor wants, what the agency is going to do. Always get clarity around what the goals are and what the next steps are. And also never assume that you can't ask questions. Never assume that when your supervisor gives you something to do that you can't go back and say, I understood this point. I know you wanted me to do this for this assignment, but what exactly did you mean here? Or when I'm doing this, do you want me to do this or do you want me to do that? Always get clarity, always ask for directions, because the most frustrating thing for a field supervisor is for you to do a task that you've been asked to do and then you do it wrong and then you have to go back and do it again. We always appreciate and also encourage you to come to us when you have questions and not to assume that you know what we want when we've not given all the full instructions. Coming to us will not make you look stupid. It won't make you look unintelligent, inferior, like you don't know what you're doing, or that you're not smart enough. We actually appreciate the fact when you come to us and tell us certain things that you need from us so we can further guide you through. Now, that doesn't mean some of your field supervisors won't get frustrated with you if you ask too many questions, or if they've explained something to you multiple times and you still don't get it, you still don't understand it, and you still don't do it well. That's always a possibility that can happen. So just make sure that you have a really good relationship and open communication with your field coordinator so you know their communication style and what you need to communicate with them to get what you need so that you can complete the task successfully. And number 6, this ties into number 4, but never take on more than you can handle. Oftentimes, your field coordinator will ask you to do multiple things, and because we have so many things that we're working on, we'll just assign things for you to do. And if we're not really tracking everything that we've asked you to do, you can grow a really long laundry list of tasks and things that need to be done with a very short window to do all of those things. So you have to communicate with your field coordinator and say, well, these are the things that you've assigned me to do so far. We've not finished this, but I know you added these 3 things that you also want me to do. Do you want to finish these 3 things first and then come back to the 3 that you gave me? Or do you want to put those first things on hold and then do you want me to focus on the things that you just gave me? So make sure that your communication is very clear and don't take on things that you don't have the capacity to do. That means that you have to consider the fact that you might be working full time, you might have children, you might have a husband, then you have your classes. You might have another job that you're working and you're expected to fulfill the internship responsibilities. If it gets too much, if you get overwhelmed, make sure that you're bringing that up when you have your supervision with your field placement coordinator. Oftentimes, we totally understand what overwhelm is like. We know that you're managing a lot. We know that you have a lot of responsibilities, and we're not expecting that you do everything. We're just expecting that you reasonably do the things that we've asked you to do and be clear with us around what you have the capacity to do and what you don't. One of the things that I like to do with my interns is to break things up in quarters, and we always keep all of our tasks in Trello. Trello is a good way for me to communicate with them, for me to see exactly where our tasks are, and then for us to decide what things did we miss the deadline on, because you will maybe miss some deadlines. What things do we need to push to another quarter, and what things do we need to move to the top of the list? So I didn't do a number 7, but if I would add a number 7, I would absolutely say stay in clear communication with your field placement coordinator. Let them know exactly what you need, exactly where you are mentally, emotionally, psychologically, with managing and balancing all of the responsibilities and the load of being in school and then handling your internship responsibilities. Again, don't assume that we know. Don't assume we can read your mind. And if we ask you to do something 9 times out of 10, we're expecting for it to get done. If you don't have the capacity to do it, then don't take it on. And please let us know that you're not able to take on that responsibility. I hope you all found this video helpful. If you have other tips that you would like for me to share around starting your internship, or things that you think would be helpful, if maybe you don't know how to have communication with your field placement coordinator, please let me know in the comment sections, because I'll be uploading more videos to help you boost your competence and confidence in the profession. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, be well.